Everyone. Welcome to ANC 2C and our August 13th, 2024 meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. It is now 6:01 p.m. We currently have 2 of 3 commissioners present this evening, and I'll ask starting with Commissioner Strauss, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure, Rebecca Strauss representing 2C2, which is K Street downtown.
And I'm Michael Schenkel representing 2C01, which is Penn Quarter, Chinatown area. We are anticipating that Thomas may be joining us from afar today, but we will see if he is able to connect with us. He is actually on vacation, I believe. So with 2 of 3 commissioners present, I'd like to call this meeting to order. The meeting has been duly noticed, and we'll just quickly go through tonight's agenda with everyone. I had it up. Okay. So there we go. There, how are you doing? So tonight's agenda, we will review and approve that. We have Commissioner Lee joining us as well. Hi, Commissioner. So we have 3 of 3 commissioners present. Tonight we will review our minutes for our May and July 2024 meetings. We will have the treasurer's report and approve the Q2 financial filing. We will discuss a budget revision that we need to undertake. We will have our general community announcements from MPD 1 and 2, the mayor's office, as well as Councilmember Pinto's office. And we have on the agenda to hear from the downtown bed and Lucas providing us an update as well. We do have 2 agenda items this evening. The first is the Indonesian Festival, and the second is the More Than Pink Walk, which we'll be discussing. And that is all for our agenda, which is a good August agenda to have. Definitely. Our room is a little scant here this evening. I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 audience members present, and I see that we have about 7 folks on time for us. I mean, 7 people online for us this evening. I would like to move that we any additions or corrections to the agenda. If there's no additions or corrections, I'd like to move that we accept the agenda as published.
Second.
I'm sorry. My name is Eloise Johnson. I'm with the Downtown DC Bid. I would just like to add a correction. I am setting in for my director, Lucas Amena,
Gotcha.
who's on vacation right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad he's on vacation. I hope he's someplace fun.
Oh yeah, Florida. My name is Eloise Johnson.
Eloise.
I'm the senior operations manager.
Gotcha. I will.
I think Lucas is probably sipping on some cocktails right about now.
Well, that's okay. That's August for you. Awesome. Fantastic. So with that change of substituting Lucas for Eloise this evening, we will make a move to approve the agenda.
Oh, Michael, Thomas here. Could we skip the treasurer's report this month? I'm away and haven't had a chance to work on it. There's been no change since last month.
Okay.
Nothing.
Got it. Did we file the financial quarterly report for June?
Not yet. I think I was working on it with Dawn before I left on vacation.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
But there's
I
been
know
no,
that is due. Okay, we will scratch the treasurer's report. Any other changes? Now I will move to approve the agenda as amended. Seconded by Commissioner Strauss. All those in favor, if you could raise your hand. So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will approve that agenda as modified. Commissioners, have you had the opportunity to review the May and July 2024 minutes?
I move to approve the meeting minutes for May and July.
The motion by Commissioner Strauss to approve the May and July 2024 minutes. I will second that motion, and all those in favor to approve those, raise your hands. 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that as well. Those will be published on the website. Our June minutes are already on the site. We had a problem with our May 2024 minutes. That's why they are delayed there. We do have one item under the treasurer's report that we have to undertake. This is a budget revision related to internet services. Peter Sacco had been working on our website 5 years ago, I believe, or before that, 6 years ago. And it has come to his attention that he has been paying our internet fees for all those years. And he communicated with me about this. We have corrected the problem moving forward, but he does have an outstanding bill of $1,733.04. And that is all to, he has paid for this on his credit card, but this is from Wix, the service that operates that. I would like to move that we move $1,733.04 from our reserves into the internet line on the budget to pay for this reimbursement.
second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. I saw his hand go up, sorry. And all those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. So we'll make that budget revision. And Thomas, I will, I don't know if I sent you the invoice from him or not, but I will re-forward it to you. So you have that. So when you get back, we can get a check off to him.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll move forward under community announcements this evening. Anybody from MPD 2 with us?
Good evening. Hey, Mr. Shanko, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I didn't see you on there. How are you, Lieutenant Garvin?
I'm great. I'm great. I'll get right down to it. So right now, as far as crime over the last 30 days, we're looking pretty good. We had 1 ADW, which actually resulted in an arrest. 2 individuals were in a verbal altercation, and the suspect attacked the individual with a brick, and he was actually arrested a few blocks down from that particular incident. So we did have a close case in that regard. We had a robbery, snatch, in the 1300 block of G Street. Individuals run up on a woman and they tried to snatch her purse from her. Right now, that case is still being investigated by our detectives unit, and that case is still currently open. We had a B2 in the 1000 block of F Street, which was also resulting in a burglary arrest. So right now, we've been giving special attention to Lululemon. I don't know if a lot of you have been tracking them. They've been getting hit pretty much, and this is all over the world, specifically on the East Coast. And as of the last 30 days, we've been really setting up operations and things of that nature. And we've only had I believe only had one theft in 30 days from Lululemon, which is a great success. So we're going to try to maintain that posture. Um, they've been coming in there. I mean, originally they were coming in there, they were just grabbing stuff and things of that nature. They do have an armed guard on present now. We're glad about that. Um, Although I don't believe that they have arrest powers at this time, but they do, make the phone call at us. We still tell them, still call us. We're in the area, and we'll try to get them as soon as we can. But give us as much information as possible because a lot of these are repeat offenders, and we want to make sure that we can address that accordingly. Our drug-free zone is getting ready to start back up, which is PSA 208 and 207, but some of the streets are kind of near our bid. 18th and N to 17th and N Street, 17th and N to 17th and DeSales, 17th and DeSales to Connecticut Avenue, and DeSales and Connecticut Avenue to Connecticut and 18th, Connecticut Avenue and 18th to 18th and N. So that will start at 0800 hours tomorrow, and it will conclude on Monday, August the 19th at 0:59 hours. I believe that will definitely be helpful because we do tend to have some robberies, car break-ins and thefts, especially in our club zone areas. So I'm looking forward to making sure that we are arresting those offenders in that space. Since January the 1st of this year, there's been a total of 192 weapon recoveries in the 2nd District. That is a lot of weapons. So in 192 weapon recoveries, we're still getting these guns off the street. Give me 1 second, my page locked up on me. Oh, one more thing I'd like to speak on. We're seeing a trend with people stealing from plumber trucks in the area. And I know maybe other districts may be experiencing that as well. They're going in when they're working in these buildings, they're going in there and they're taking these equipment, and this equipment is very, very expensive. So right now we've been getting the words out to the owners of these vehicles, let them know to please keep them locked. Every now and then, just check on your vehicle. Don't get so inundated into your work that, you're not checking on your vehicle. 2 hours, 3 hours have passed, and you come back out, and now you've lost $8,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment. So that is definitely on our radar. That's something that other districts are experiencing as well. So it must be a market out there, some sort of fence. But we're going to stay on top of that. And if any additional information that we have for this community as well, I'll make sure we definitely send it out to everyone. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much for the update. I really appreciate that. I have, I guess, 2 questions for you.
Mhm.
With private security officers, they're not allowed to detain somebody within the store. They have to call MPD. Is that?
So it depends. So some SPOs do have arrest powers,
Okay.
and there are some that do not.
Oh.
And it also depends on store policy.
Uh,
Some stores do not want security getting involved with the suspect while inside the store because it may put their employees in some sort of danger. So they would rather for that individual to leave the store first, and then either they'll make contact with that person outside of the store, or they'll just call us and just give us the information.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that was the case. And with the drug-free zones, was there a pause in the drug-free zones for a while, or they're just now moving to other locations?
They're just moving to other locations. I think it's a system that they have in place, which I'm not sure how the system works or has it implemented, but yes, it hasn't frozen up. So it's just right now it's time to move to these particular areas and locations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Anyone from the public have any questions? Sure. You want to? I think we have the mic on. I think I have it on there.
Hi, I'm not sure which police district Thomas Circle is in. But I wonder what the deal is with, there's two guys in camping now outside the Wawa at Thomas Circle. And they have a lot of bad blood between the two of them. So they're living 15 feet apart from each other on the sidewalk. One of them has two large dogs, two Labradors. That just the impact on people walking back and forth or trying to go into the Wawa is considerable.
Mm.
I'm just concerned that it's becoming more of an entrenched thing.
Got it. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, so you said there are two individuals in Thomas Circle who tend to have maybe having some sort of conflict.
Yes,
Outside the Wawa.
it's outside the Wawa at Thomas
Okay.
Circle on the sidewalk, between the Wawa and the circle itself. They're both literally living on the sidewalk in pretty close proximity to each other, but there's often a lot of yelling and
Mm-hmm.
posturing and
They're not being good neighbors. So what I can do, so what I can do is I can get Officer Charles, who deals with our encampment and our unhoused population, and I can have her just touch down and see what's going on, maybe talk to those individuals just to kind of see what the conflict is and try to address it once we actually know what it is. Is it housing? Is it, one might be stealing from the other, just to kind of just mediate it per se and just go from there.
they've both been there for more than a month now.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Godwin, this is Eloise with Downtown DC Bid, and I just want to state that that encampment is actually at the border of Downtown DC Bid. However, we do have our clean team to support the cleanliness of that area, and I could say that those individuals have been on and off at that location with those dogs throughout. I would say since the Pride Parade is when we first, because I
Yeah.
myself had contacted you all, and Lieutenant Charles and I'm sorry, Officer Charles and I had been having conversation regarding that, as well as our outreach services. But again, we talk, they go away, and they come back.
Yeah, I actually sent a thank you email to your boss, Lucas, about a month ago, thanking him for the services of your cleanup team, who literally walked me through the fracas one day, because I approached the cleanup team and said, what's the threshold on involving, other forces of the city with this. And he was very kind to walk with me, which I didn't really need, but it's definitely unpleasant when they're both agitated.
Right, and not to mention that their dogs, you're not quite sure the behavior of them, and
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole nother factor in the situation.
well, I'll also mention it to our outreach, and because we also, like I said, Lieutenant Garvin, we deal with Officer Charles a lot. So I'll make note as well.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
That.
You're
While
welcome.
While you're making notes about that, we have a similar situation happening here at the MLK library between two women that have recently relocated here, and we're not sure. They're new to the library area for us and seeing them, but they are also at it almost every evening and being held back by various people as well. So just
Well,
putting
I'm at the office now, but I live in the bid. I live down near Navy Memorial, and on my way home, I will stop past and I'll see what I can find out to report it to our homeless outreach
Great. Thank you.
to get the ball rolling on the engaging.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you, Lieutenant Garvin.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate you being here. And do you think we'll reschedule the kickball?
Yes, yes, yes. I have not forgotten about the kickball. The weather is starting to turn just a little bit. It's getting ready to turn a little bit. So I'm thinking sometime in September we should be good. It should be comfortable.
Awesome. That sounds great to me. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Do we have anybody from MPD one on with us? Which covers
I'm
the,
Lieutenant Alali. I'm filling in for Captain Paul Herbenek.
hi
Um,
there.
Hi, I'm currently the only management official in the first district, so I'll be very brief. I'm also the watch commander this evening. But I just wanted to highlight some ongoing declines in our crime stats relative to the PSA 101 area. So just want to talk about violent crime, which we're really kind of focused in on. We have a overall total decrease of 64%. That's a double-digit significant decrease. That encompasses homicides, sex abuses, ADWs, and robberies. And on the grand total on the property side, still, very impressive. We have a decrease of 35% on the property crime. So, we're definitely doing a lot of work. We have our officers targeting their efforts at areas where crime is anticipated and where we expect enforcement will be most effective. Within the last 30-day period between June 17th and July 16th, 2024, there were 7 crimes and 20 MPD arrests and 13 arrests with Metro Transit within a 1,000-foot radius around Gallery Place. So I bring that up only to show that our arrests are outpacing our crimes. And I think that's a secret ingredient why you see such significant reductions. And like I said, the total last year to date, we had 45 violent crimes between January 1st, 2023 and August 12th, 2023. This year, it's 16 compared to 16. So that's an overall decrease of 64%. And that's pretty much, what, all I'm going to really speak. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but, as far as the drug-free zones, I know that you answered a really good question. They actually just rotate from different, obviously not only different districts, but different PSAs. We've enjoyed it. I really like it when it's in the Chinatown gallery area. I love it when it's there. I manage that area. When it was there, I just want to say that we had 0 violent crimes in 30 days. And that's pretty impressive, and 7 crimes reported in that area with 20 arrests. So you just look at the numbers, right? Seven crimes reported, but we're making 20 arrests. So we're making far more arrests in these crimes. And I think we're definitely ultimately in the right direction. And hopefully this is going to be sustained victories for us. That's all I have really as far as one day.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight and giving us that update. I agree with you. I think that the drug-free zones are very much working and helping in the area. So I do applaud all your work and dedication on that front as well. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Lee.
Hi, yes, hi, Lieutenant Alali. This is Commissioner Lee from 2C03 down in Penn Quarter. About 2 weeks ago, there was an attack. I think it was a theft as well. Some individuals drove up on a woman walking along D Street, D and 8th specifically, right across from the TISM and the Navy Memorial. It was recorded on the attack was recorded from a resident who happened to be on their patio or on their balcony at the time. It was reported in the news that it took an hour for Metro Police to respond, which is a little surprising since the headquarters is just 2 blocks away, and then FBI is only a block away as well. Do you know what became of the case? Were the individuals arrested and were they charged? And why did it take so long? Is the 911, the 911 emergency center having issues with staffing? Do you know anything more about this particular incident?
So I appreciate your question. I'm gonna answer the second part of your question first, then I'll go back to the status of that offense. Relative, I just want people to understand that when you dial 911, you're not getting any MPD officers. You go into the Office of Unified Communications. They're a completely separate, autonomous agency, and yes, they are suffering severe staffing shortages. And I've heard some horror stories about people calling 911 and not being able to get through right away, so on and so forth. So yes, that is an issue that MPD is aware of, and we're trying to work through that. As far as why did it take so long? So it could have been, again, this is speculation. I don't like to speculate, but however the call was received, and however the initial call taker put the call notes in to a CAD, a computer dispatch system, and then the dispatcher then sees it, they get prioritized. So depending on what was happening at that particular moment, I'm not trying to serve interference here, but and again, this is pure speculation, it gets prioritized. So if there are actually other violent crimes in progress, they would be addressed first. And again, as far as MPD on our side, we have a lot of things going on as far as staffing. We're also thin. We're not immune to that as well. So it depends. Again, it's one of those things. It depends. I'd really have to examine that and see, what the story was with that. But so yes, OUC is separate. I understand you said it's only a few blocks, but they're intaking that call, and they're ultimately we're relying on them to put it into the computer. I don't know how long it takes a dispatcher once they get that information to type it in, and then to hit the enter button, so that the actual dispatcher that's working the 1D zone will dispatch it. And sometimes we don't know how long it takes for them to actually read that transmission. So there's so many different things that go into it. But that is an area of concern, and we are fully aware of that. And I think part of the issue is, you touched on it, is staffing issues in the Office of Unified Communications. But that is not. People think that once you call 911, you're getting a police officer or a police official, a sworn police official. You're getting a civilian that is completely separate. And to be quite frank with you, Commissioner, we have absolutely zero oversight over the Office of Unified Communications. Is a completely separate entity. Now, getting as far as answering your question, where this case is with these individuals, held, arrested, I'm going to have to, take this information down. I'll give you my email, and I'm going to circle with my detective lieutenant, Lieutenant Mufti, in our detective division, to find out, because I don't have that information right now. But I'm more than happy to look into it and give you a quick response. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to give you my email address. And for everybody on here, it's Araz, ARAZ. Again, that's Adam Robert, Adam Zebra, dot Alali, Adam Lincoln, Ida, at dc.gov. So it's araz.alali at dc.gov. Any concerns, please feel free. If you could shoot me an email, Commissioner, so I have your email, and I will respond back with the facts and circumstances surrounding that particular case you mentioned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have two questions in the room. So starting with you, Howard.
Lieutenant, congratulations on those statistics out of Chinatown. I'm the Howard Marks, the vice president on the condo board of the residents at Gallery Place, at the foot of the Chinatown Friendship Arch. So that's really good news. Thank you. A couple issues I wanted to raise. The first, does MPD still do traffic control?
As far as we have TCOs, traffic control officers, at various intersections that are prone to accidents and traffic congestion. So again, they're part of our GDOT, and they're traffic control officers. The police officers are not doing it. It's TCOs that kind of spearhead that initiative.
Because I wanted to raise the issue on Sunday morning. My wife and I were walking our dog, at the intersection of Fifth and E is in Edward Street Northwest. A
Okay.
car no more than 4 feet from me, where Commissioner Strauss is, went through a red light, almost hit me at a very high rate of speed. Thank God my life was spared. And my wife was also almost hit at the same intersection by a vehicle turning right off of E onto northbound Fifth. Are there cameras at that intersection? Can we have someone check and see whether there's a video? It was, I think it was an out-of-state SUV. I yelled at him and I said, "You're going through the red light." And he slammed on his brakes and he wound up halfway in the intersection. If I had been 4 feet from there, I would not be here tonight. So what's the deal with these cameras and what's MPD's role in that?
Okay, so MPD is constantly adding cameras. So I've jotted the location down at 5th and East Street Northwest. I would say that it's promising that there is a camera. We have different cameras. We have crime cameras, a real-time crime center. So I would have to look into that. But first of all, I'm glad that you're okay. That's first and foremost. I want to say that. But in the future, I got this information from you and this intelligence, and I'll definitely look into that. Did you call 911, sir, at that point to report this?
No, we were just sort of lucky to be alive, and
I hear you. We rely heavily on things observed by citizens, and I think if in the future, if that happens, we'd be best served if you would call 911, give whatever information, if it's a van, partial tag, no tag, and at the bare minimum, an officer can then at that moment start canvassing for that vehicle and initiate a traffic stop, see what the story is. Is that driver impaired, under the influence of drugs, alcohol? Is that vehicle registered? Is it suspended, properly insured? And I think we have our best shot, right, at that, using those tactics versus reviewing camera footage and going about it that way. So I appreciate that you're making this known to me. Like I said, that is an intersection that I would hope that there is some type of camera at 5th and East Street Northwest. I will definitely take a look at that. But in the future, if you could, please make an attempt to just call. And so we have officers right there in that area. And they would, do a comprehensive canvass for that car and initiate an investigation right then and there. Does that make any sense, sir?
It does. It does.
Okay.
Clearly pulling motorists. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I said I understand it can be traumatic. So I'm not trying to, admonish you in any way. I'm just offering some criticism on this.
Okay. Well, please you just let Chairman Schenkel know if you did find anything on the camera from Sunday morning. It was about 9 a.m. Thank you.
Okay. 9 a.m. I got it noted. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. We have Jim.
Yes, thank you. My name is Jim Swart, and Lieutenant, I do appreciate the efforts that you're making to ensure that Chinatown becomes a safe place. I'm wondering what level of official cooperation there is with the transit police and the city police in terms of who does what and when they do it, and do they work cooperatively together, because we often see something happen down in the metro, some situation, and then the people come out onto the street and there's just no one to blend the two networks together into some unifying police action for that. So that's the first issue. And then secondly, it was mentioned here last month, I think by the gentleman who preceded me, that since drug-free zones, while they are in operation, are very successful, you yourself mentioned, the lowering of the crime rates. Is it possible that certain areas, such as the Chinatown Gate metro area, that entire area can be a permanent drug-free zone. And that's
Well,
all.
I appreciate the question. So as far as making a permanent drug-free zone, we have to operate within the parameters of DC code, and that only allows us to do it for 5 days. So the answer to that is no. We could always circle back to that, but as far as making it a permanent stay, as much as I would love to, the law does not permit us at its current version to do that. As far as the collaboration between Metro Transit and let me back up. Metro Transit handles theoretically crimes and incidents that happen, on their platforms, and that's pretty much it. In anything in their transit system, once it hits the street level, right, and you get on top of those escalators, and you take a few steps away from that, that becomes MPD's zone of influence. So we have been doing some coordinated responses, not just with Metro Transit, but with the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And we've ramped up our seizures in relation to illegal firearms. So it is happening. It's happening in the area. The collaboration is really good because we know, right, from experience, a lot of times when they commit those crimes, where do they go? Right down into the tunnels, into the transit system. So being able to have that, those initiatives, that availability has been helpful. Transit, again, and they don't have a very large police department and they're spread thin, but we do take advantage and we do enjoy, connecting with them and making things happen. And we've done that, and their command staff officials have reached out to our leadership here, and we do take advantage of that. Would I like to see more of that? Sure, but it is happening among our other federal partners. So yeah, that's transit has been receptive. They have been in communication, and we have pieced together a lot of initiatives, and we've gotten performance results out of that.
And are there any formal agreements, written agreements between and amongst the various police entities in this area, of which there are many?
So that's a great question. There are memorandums of understanding between, and every agency has a unique role. So there is one with the Capitol Police, with the Secret Service, with the U.S. Park Police, U.S. Mint. So yes, there are, but they're separate and distinct. They're not all the same. With Amtrak Police, with the Metro Transit Police. So yes, we do have that in our policy and in DC code as well.
All right, thank you.
Very welcome, sir.
Thank you for that. And I'm not sure when Dorothy's hand went up, but I do see one more hand online for us, and that's Dorothy McClare.
Yes, McAleer, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for the information and what you do. I understand there will be further communication about the incident on 8th and D Street Northwest that will be exchanged after this meeting. I'm a resident at 7th and D, and this is the first that I'm learning of this. So is there any way that perhaps there could be some sort of an outreach to interested parties? And if so, how would I get myself on that list? I'm particularly interested in knowing what time the incident occurred and some more details.
So that's a great question. So what we do is we have MPD has various social mediums we use. We use when there's a robbery initially that happens, we put it on Nextdoor, we put it on the listservs. You might see it on Twitter. When there's an arrest made, and those are my favorite, right? When there's an arrest made, we also announce them through our press room at MPD. Sometimes they get newsworthy, but the best thing that I could say is that we do try to have that connectivity with the residents, so you guys have a pulse on what's going on in your community, right? It's important to know, number one, the type of crimes that are occurring, right? Because you all could have that information, and also when we are able to make a closure in that case. So we like to highlight and showcase that as well. So like I said, we do when that happens, we do put on various social media platforms. Is there one you said you want to be on a list? Are you referring to like a listserv or something?
Just anyway, and you've been kind enough to provide vehicles through which I can be informed. I'm not on the social media platforms that you've mentioned, which I will join. I was just interested. As I said, this was the first I heard of it, and I live in that area, so I'm not certain of if it happened at day or night, or what the particulars are.
Right. So I recognize that, but I'm going to look into that 8th and D Street Northwest incident. I know that you're just stone throw away at 7th and D. I'm gonna, like I said, I think have that enhanced communication, and we do try to streamline the process by putting on those different media platforms, but joining those.
Dorothy, what's your email address? I'll CC you on my email to Lieutenant Alali. What's your email?
Oh, okay. It's my name at yahoo.com. No
Okay,
dots or anything.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just let you know, ma'am, the platforms, just so you're clear, whatever one we use Facebook, we use Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. So basically, next door, but we use a whole array, and our PIO Public Information Office is pretty good at at the minimum, when there's an arrest made or a significant closure, to put that out, and we rely on the watch commanders to put that in real time when an offense happens. But I will going to give that to the commissioner as promised, and he will loop you in on that.
I appreciate it. It was just a bit alarming because I am hypothesizing it was during the day if somebody was able to film it from their balcony, which would be, at least 10 floors above. So I really appreciate everything everyone does, and I'll look forward to the future information.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And I know that Lieutenant Lally is going to send out some information to Commissioner Lee. I believe there was an arrest made in this case a day or two later as well. So
Mr. Schenkel, I have my computer. I happen to have the case numbers, and I could just kind of bypass contacting our detective unit. Does anybody have case numbers to this?
Anybody what?
Have the case numbers, the CCN number, case numbers?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I do not, but I heard a news report talking about it, and they mentioned this as one of the cases that it was tied to. So I believe there was a closure in it, but I'm not 100% certain. But thank you very much, Lieutenant. We appreciate you being here and filling in, and we gave you a good first meeting with us.
Thank you, Mr. Schenkel. Thank you, everyone, for having me and listening to me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
We will now move forward with the Office of the Mayors and the Mayor's Liaison, who is with us this evening. Do you have a guy? How are you? Welcome. Could you, oh, you shared a PowerPoint with me? Are you online, or you shared it with me by email? Okay. I can pull it right up.
Okay. Wonderful. Good evening, everyone.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, I sure will. Just give me one moment, please.
Oh, I found it. Okay. Now let me figure out how to share. Okay. There we go. Looks totally different on my screen.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Taya Billa. I'm the Ward 2 manager with the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. I'm just shy of 2 months within this role. So thank you very much for your continued patience and support. Just to share a little bit about my role, my focus is to identify and to address constituent concerns and issues that you all may have. And I work closely with some of the partners that you may see on this call, such as MPD, the Board of Educations, DDOT, and so forth, depending on what that nature of the issue is. So long story short, I'm the connector. So if you were to reach out to me, I would identify and kind of break down the nitty gritty of the issue and work and connect you all with the appropriate agency so that we can find solutions. So that's the role that I play here with Mokers. And I'm very happy to be here. And within my presentation, I just shared a couple of updates in terms of resources and upcoming events that may be of interest to you all. And then also, again, to address any comments, questions, or concerns that you may have.
Awesome.
And then I just shared a few slides, and I can share this or if it can be shared with the group.
Yep.
But here's my contact information. So if you ever need to reach me, please feel free to reach me by email or by telephone. I can also use text message as well. So whatever your preferred method of contact or communication, please don't hesitate to reach out. And yep, so there's my contact information right there. And so I'm sure you all may have heard of our safety hub. We do welcome all residents from all 8 wards to stop by the hub to visit us. We have various agencies there to answer your questions and to address your concerns. My schedule at the hub is every Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. So if you're ever in the area, please feel free to swing by if you have any comments or questions that you want to share. And again, there are also other supporting agencies that may be at the hub also. But yep, I can be at the hub. You'll find me there every Thursday, 1 to 3 p.m. And this is just our 311 app, and just kind of a variety of ways in which we can help one another, just to address some issues that you all may have. So whether it's wanting to remove graffiti markings, if there's illegal dumping, a great starting point is the 311 app. And at any point in time, if there's a walkthrough that's needed through that app, I'll be more than happy to show you all. But this is a great starting point in addition to reaching out to me directly to address that issue that you may have. And here's just some resources in regards to opportunities. DC is hiring, so I just provided a link to an opportunity that you may be interested in or know someone who is seeking an opportunity within DC government. I just want to make sure that that resource was provided to you all. And so the link will take you directly to the website. And again, I'll assure that you all have this information that you can access it. And here's just a couple of upcoming events. We're currently in the middle of Restaurant Week. So please support our local businesses by going out to celebrate either brunch or lunch, even dinner with family and friends. So works to more so supporting the economic development within DC. In addition to that, we do have DC Senior Games. So if you're interested, please feel free to register in a continuation of Jazz in the Park. Again, all those links will take you directly to the appropriate outlets so that you can sign up or register. And with the mayor's office, there are 3 main focuses, 3 main areas of focus, one being public safety. And we just heard from MPD in regards to the decrease in crime. And this is just pulling stats from Crime Data DC, just to kind of show you that indication. So again, we'll be working closely with MPD to address some of those violent crimes that may take place within our neighborhoods. But it is a good thing that as of right now, the crime is down. So public safety is definitely #1 of a focus for the mayor's office. Followed by that is the focus on revitalizing downtown. So I did provide the full report for you all to see in terms of the opportunity and the vision that the mayor has in regards to the importance of the revitalization of downtown DC. So please take a few moments if you haven't done so already to review that full report there. And last but not least, our area of focus on education. So especially as we're gearing towards back to school, I just want to provide some healthy resources for families, for the students, for grandparents that may assist with students that are heading back to school. And there's a ton of helpful information. So I do encourage you all to take a look at that site, because there may be information even for someone who's not responsible for someone that's going back to school. Just individually, it may be helpful to so. Again, those three main focuses: public safety, revitalizing downtown DC, and then also education. And last but not least, again, just wanted to kind of wrap up with my contact information. And then also wanted to see in what ways these reports would be helpful for you all. So I'll definitely connect, with the team to see how we can best relay important updates and information to you all that you all might find very helpful.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Definitely, I do have a question for you. Can you speak to the news reports about the mayor and council not finishing the deal with Capital One Arena?
I don't have full context to be able to speak on that specific issue or topic, but I can definitely circle back with you. That information that can be shared with the committee in itself around that. But at this moment, I don't have just kind of full context to be able to share thoroughly on that specific issue.
Got it, because it's very concerning because Leonis had indicated previously that he was neglected or felt neglected by the city. And now 4 months have passed, and news reports are that their negotiating period has expired. And we do not want to be back in the same position we were previously, where we're fighting with Virginia
Of course.
over getting a stadium or the caps moving or something like that. We want that to be put to bed.
Absolutely.
So-
Yep. So I would definitely take note of that, just to just gather some more information around that. Just a side note, fun fact, I used to work at Capital One Arena
Okay.
with Monumental Sports and Entertainment. So kind of, best of both worlds for sports and entertainment, but then also from the public service side also. But yes, I'll make note of that and I'll circle back with you on that.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Go ahead. Commissioner Lee.
Yes, hi. I've got a quick question. The food trucks that line 7th Street right by the National Mall, are they regulated? Are they regulated by DC, or is that park police or park service territorial?
I'm sorry, it's a bit in and out towards the
Oh,
end.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, the food trucks that line that are located by the National Mall along 7th Street, are is that area regulated by DDOT, or is that more park police?
So in regards to the food trucks, because we're also experiencing not only within that area specifically that you mentioned, but then also in Georgetown. So we're working very closely with DLCP to ensure that all the food truck distributors or business owners have the appropriate licensing. We want to make sure that, they're provided those resources so that they can illegally vend and, service their items. And in addition to that, we're also working closely with MPD on that concern too. So I know in September, there's going to be, a big collaborative meeting and how we're going to move forward with addressing the bigger concern overall with that. But it is on the radar of MPD and DLCP. So they are working jointly together to ensure, again, legal vending, but then also being able to provide the opportunity so that, business owners can also go about, supporting themselves too.
Right. You know, one of the concerns that I constantly hear is the lack of transparency regarding pricing. You know, there are no menus, there are no pricing on, you know, what things cost and visitors and local and national. I hear from various people that, you know, with complaints about, you know, not knowing what things cost. So if that could be included in the discussion about looking for ways where, you know, prices could be more transparent as part of the, you know, regulation process, I think that would be very helpful to everyone who would like to, you know, use go to the food trucks but would like to know what things cost ahead of time.
Of course, I think that's a great point that you made. Just keeping the full transparency, especially for those that are looking to patronize the businesses. So I'll definitely take note of that and bring that back to the team.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Commissioner South, do you have a question? Okay. Any other questions? Sure. You want to grab the mic there for us so that people online can hear? Please.
We'll have to do a tag team.
Tag team, yeah, sorry, we only
okay.
have one mic.
So I wanted to give a shout out to the service center. I went in there a couple of weeks ago. There was a problem with rodents in the abandoned building at the intersection of 8th and H, the northeast corner. It's complicated. It's just sort of like an alcove, hard to describe. But every time we went by there were like, you know, I think they're called nests of rats. I went in to report that, and some gentleman, I don't have his name, he handles the mental health issues of the unhoused. Within 48 hours, that issue has been resolved. I mean, they're working on it. The people that own the building, that are renovating the building, are there like every day. So thank you so much. Shout out. So that's the good news. The bad news, the service center is very poorly marked. There's no overhang, there's no sign over the sidewalk. And those beautiful pastel colors are great at the National Gallery or the Portrait Gallery, but not to grab public attention. Those beautiful robin blue color. You need something that stands out, and you need a sign hanging over the sidewalk, a huge sign. So people that are standing across the street at the metro station, waiting for buses and so on, could see what that is. People have no idea. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Sure.
Mine is quick, just to follow up about the hub. I've been, since it opened, pointing out that it's not actually wheelchair accessible. The lift does work, but no one knows how to operate it. There's no doorbell from the outside, so there's no way to get anyone's attention to come open the door. The door is not ADA compliant. The whole venue is really not ADA accessible. I've shared that with the police lieutenants who promised to follow up, but nothing has happened. So I'll offer to shame you all by buying a doorbell and a wheelie man sign. This is not rocket science. You just glom it onto the outside and plug the other side into an outlet inside, and you got a doorbell. I'll make sure that's okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Hello. I know you can hear me just fine, but we're with this. So two things having to do with the revitalization of downtown and all the pomp and circumstance that went into all the stages of the gloriful gardening and moving and people and that sort of thing, and all the pomp and circumstance that went into the agreement for Capital One Arena to stay with Monumental Sports it was a monumental effort, I think. But now both things, I'm just not sure what stages we're in for either of them. And it's kind of tough to get an update. And I don't expect you to have one today, but where can we, as people who live in this area, know when something's going to occur that's positive with that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being here. It's a pleasure to see you in person. Awesome. Thank you. We will now move forward to Councilmember Pinto's office. Do we have someone from Councilmember Pinto's office on? There's Maddie.
Hello, everyone. Great to be with you all this evening. Just confirming that you can hear me okay.
We can hear you fine.
Awesome. So just as a reminder, the council is currently on recess, starting July 15th all the way to September 15th. This means that there are no hearings or roundtables and that there is no new legislation that can be introduced. But the council is very much still working otherwise. We call it more of a legislative pause. So be sure to keep reaching out to us with any needs. At this meeting, I wanted to highlight two letters that Councilmember Pinto has recently put out to the public. The first is a letter to social media companies. We've heard a good amount from violence interrupters, police, and experts that social media is really driving gun violence in the district. So we looked into this, and it turns out there really are a large number of examples of social media escalating conflict in the district. So because of this, the council member wrote a letter to X, or formerly known as Twitter, Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, Google, who owns YouTube, Snapchat, and TikTok, really describing this issue that we're seeing and requesting that they tell us what they've done to combat this kind of violence, urging them to do more and offering our help in doing so. We've received a good response from some of these companies so far and are looking forward to addressing this. The second letter is a letter sent to WMATA GM Randy Clark, or the Washington Metro Authority, Transit Authority area. Pardon me. And this is basically on the Better Bus Network. So the council member sent this letter on the 15th of July. We really heard concerns from our constituents, and we know that residents are relying on Metrobus, some of the circulator routes to get to work, travel to school, and just access connection all across our city. I'll send both of the letters in the chat if you're interested in reading more about them, but basically the council member advocated for WMATA to absorb the 3 circulator routes and really laid out other specific routes that came specifically from our ANCs, whether that was through them passing resolutions or constituents sending us feedback. So if you're ever feeling like, what is me speaking up at an ANC meeting really means, we are taking those feedback, and there are specific routes that were shared in the letter specifically from our ANCs and constituents. I also wanted to shout out the work of the BID and the Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force. The task force is now in the process of implementing some of the immediately actionable items provided by some ideas from the ANC and community, such as activating Gallery Place and planning ahead for some longer, more complicated capital projects. So when asked what is activation, it's a good question. I don't think I really knew what that really means, but it's essentially bringing life into spaces that might be otherwise unfilled. So whether these are spaces that are unleased or vacant or just big open spaces in general. So for an example, think of Franklin Park. Inactive is just a park with benches where people gather, but when we activate it and the BID activates it, it's community events that are drawing people all across the city and making it lively through music and programming. So when we activate downtown for small businesses, we really make it easier for entrepreneurs and artists to open their talents and their businesses in that specific corridor. So the council member has also funded key pillars of her Recovery Act to incentivize the transformation of vacant offices into housing and mixed use spaces to really bolster the resiliency of our downtown. So far, we've seen 10 properties that are undergoing these conversion renovations. So the first major housing conversion is the L over in the Golden Triangle bid, and that opened to residents this summer, seeing some really cool photos of what those apartments are looking like. It's almost like you're in an office, but you're home at the same time. I also wanted to share some updates relevant to the ANC in terms of what we're seeing legislatively with medical cannabis. So the Medical Cannabis Clarification Amendment Act of 2023, also known as B250581. I'll drop all of that information in the chat so you have it. This bill was marked up and passed out of CBED, or the Committee on Business and Economic Development, right before the council recessed. So what this bill has become is a real omnibus bill that incorporates all of the emergency medical cannabis legislation that has been passed this year. So it will now go to the Committee of the Whole, which is chaired by Chairman Mendelson, to be marked up out of that committee because it was sequentially referred to both committees. So some key issues that we are anticipating seeing is changes to the protest process. We know that this ANC has a lot of experience with the protest process. So I've passed along a lot of your feedback to incorporate any aspects and ideas of this bill, but I'm also encouraging folks to reach out directly if they have any specific thoughts or feedback on the protest process that I might have missed along the way. I'd be more than happy to connect you with our legislative director, Lynn, who is leading this process for our office, just to make sure that we get a full and accurate representation, from those who specifically have, gone through this and experienced it. So I think that is currently all I have for you this evening. I would be happy to answer any questions or receive any comments to pass along.
Thank you very much for that feedback. And yes, we would be very happy to add our input to the protest process and to ensure that it is fair and equitable for all those who are impacted by it. There's been a lot of media attention as of late with APCA not enforcing the closure of unlicensed medical marijuana establishments, and the licensed establishments hurting greatly, going out of business because they are not able to support themselves because people are going to these unlicensed things. Has the council member weighed in on that?
Yes, we've absolutely been hearing the same thing, and the council member is working closely with Director Masali on this issue. We've identified specifically the ones in Ward 2 that we're working on addressing. I don't have specific updates to the numbers and which ones are in the process of APCA closing them down if they're not in the process of the regulation. But it is something that we're aware of and constantly working on and hearing a lot about. So I assume with this legislation, we will continue to get more updates on what is happening.
Great. Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Maddie? I can't see Thomas at the moment. But any questions online? None online. Howard, we have a question on the floor. Hang on one second.
Maddie, thank you so much for being here tonight, joining us. Myself and my neighbor here raised the issue of the drug-free zones, the 5-day, how successful they've been. 5 days, it's not enough. we've had drug dealing at the metro station under our building, the residence at Gallery Place. When the signs go up, they go elsewhere. When the signs are taken down, they're back at our corner dealing drugs. It's so detrimental to our neighborhood, and I'm sure for the gentleman, my neighbor here, who's also sitting in the audience. And I did write your office that I believe that Councilman Pinto might consider holding hearings on this to make it permanent on some locations. Actually, it should be permanent all over the city, but that's a different story. But basically, if there's sufficient evidence that there's drug dealing, like at the intersection of 7th and H, for example, by the Chinatown Friendship Arch, that should be a permanent zone, drug-free zone. Please pass on to her and your legislative director. Thank you.
Maddie, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Maddie.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. I was just going to say, I've been hearing, a lot about this. They're here and then they go away. This is something that was legislated in the Councilmember Security C plan. And we're hearing now more and more that these are very effective in what they are accomplishing. We're seeing improvements in those 5 days in which a drug-free zone is operated. However, that period had to be legislated and passed through the council. And I will say that it was controversial and slightly unpopular, but hopefully we see that they're working and that people are actually pretty pleased with them, and the potential to explore future solutions because of the success that we're having in those statistics going forward.
Maddie, I was going to ask, am I wrong in suggesting that is a temporary feature, that there is an expiration, there's an emergency legislation?
So the Security C plan was passed both on emergency and as permanent legislation. So the way that it's done is so that some of the things that are non-budgetary can go into effect immediately, but some of the things that do require funding will go effect in the next fiscal year. So it is not temporary, besides the fact that the zones itself are constantly moving around based on places that are identified by Chief Smith and her team.
Got it. Well, that's good that it's able to continue for certain. Oh, sure. You have one more question, and then we'll move forward.
Yes, we'll move forward after this one. I was wondering, I certainly appreciate Brooks and your work with many of the things in Ward 2. I think it's a wonderful situation for us. I was wondering, within the ward, there are numerous ANCs. Are we about the only ANC that is zoned primarily commercial, not say residential? Because I think in many ways we suffer in a way because of that, in that, the school down on 8th and near the Naval Monument. Basically, they can open a marijuana dispensary shop just across the street, basically, because of the way our zoning is. So we residents would love to feel like we're number one on the list, but we're, a little bit down there. So.
Yeah, definitely hear you. The 2C is in a very unique situation, just compared to other places in the ward, but we're seeing that, and I appreciate that feedback, and we'll be taking that into consideration, really as we approach all issues that this area is zoned differently and has different and unique needs that need to be addressed.
Thank you very much, Maddie. We appreciate it. I do see one, you were able to do one more question for us. James Stroud.
Hi, thanks for your time and thanks for all the information. Really appreciate it. Just from, I don't know, hearing what people are saying about the drug-free zones, I hear you say like they're a great success, but then I also hear that like when they're enacted, the activity goes down, and then when they move areas, it goes back, which to me indicates that it's not really a success. It's more of like a band-aid, or like they just relocate when they go away when the drug-free zone is activated and then come back when it's not. That just, I don't know, it seems like a very like temporary stopgap measure. And I don't know, it just seems like a continuation of the war on drugs, which has largely been seen as a lost cause by the Global Commission on Drug Policy, by the UN Commissioner for Human Rights. Have we? I don't know. Like it just seems like just throwing money at policing drugs and throwing people in jail. It just seems like a losing battle. Have we considered, I don't know, another approach? Because from the anecdotal stuff that you've said, like it just seems like putting a band-aid and then putting a band-aid when I don't know, it just seems like a losing cause there.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the question. I think we're hearing a variety of really different things from across the city. I'm not on the ground as MPD, the one who's like enforcing those things, but we are hearing directly from them that it's helping in some ways with specific things that they deal with. And I definitely see your point of when they come and go. So I'll take those back to the council member and pass that message along. And we'll keep working on ways to prevent drug dealing in our city.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, Maddie.
Thank you, everyone.
We will move forward to downtown DC bid and Eloise Johnson, who is filling in for Lucas this evening.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone, or evening, I'm sorry. I wanted to just take a second to let Howard know that I am truly I'm glad that he and his wife is okay dealing with the situation that they occurred Sunday morning. I've been in a couple of meetings with Howard, and he's given a lot of feedback and things that was important for us to I would say look at or to address that impact the bid in a lot of ways. With that said, I wanted to just mention about our new safety team and give a little update on it, stating we have actually been in existence now for 4 months, and the process of how we're rolling out things from reporting things on the ground in real time and using technology such as an application that we use with smart tagging, which downloads and goes directly to a few of us at the bid, meaning myself as well as my director, Lucas Amana, and sometimes as in the hierarchy of the situation that comes across that will be escalated to Jaren. In essence, that information is given and we would dispatch it to the various areas that it's needed to be addressed as fast as we could. And a couple of other situations that I wanted to point out with our safety team and how they're going around the Chinatown corridor and also Penn quarters around 7th Street, Capital One Arena, engaging with the stakeholders and reporting things or issues that they come up with or that they've come across or actually having to have transpired in their building. They relay those informations to us and we actually addressed as urgent as the need is. And then some would be like maybe a little longer, that it would probably take a day or two, where we would be able to fix or service something. Mentioning one of the things I think Howard also mentioned about the rodents. That also is one of the situations that the smart tag given by our safety team, that's with the new initiative, has been instrumental in helping us to actually complete at a faster pace, that we would go out and have our team pressure wash in the middle of the night while everybody is sleeping, so that way we're not interfering, but yet still try with all of those efforts in creating a safe and clean environment for downtown. In addition to our planters and engaging, smart tags even dropped for tons of stickers and posters and graffiti throughout the Chinatown corridor as well. This is just given an observation, which I'm not able to at this time present the spreadsheets, but we have some statistics, which is from the month of June and July. We had over, I would say for June, we had like 649 stickers, posters, and graffitis throughout just the Chinatown corridor alone. But through that smart tag with the safety initiative, we were able to narrow that down to only in the month of July for 385. So that's a significant drop all through our safety team in helping. And most of those are actually coming through stickers from the protests and things of that nature that has happened as early as 2 weeks ago, where it had actually congregated at 7th and 8th Street in Chinatown. Also with dealing with the trash and the collections, we've collected over 7,000, bags of trash, 105 pounds of trash collected per day. So those are like some of the updates that we wanted to provide for downtown DC. We're adding over 150 hanging baskets throughout the bid, and on a constantly, or should I say 7 days a week, continuous running of our tenant machines through the streets, curb lines, and cans emptying with pressure washing, and 2 days out of every week with pressure washing at the metro stations there at Chinatown and 8th Street, also and Chinatown Park. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I don't think I realized that the bid was to clean those areas at the metro stops. So
Oh yeah, we do. Actually, Chinatown has been a big focus, where for the past, I would say 8 months, and that area has been actually earmarked to do pressure washing there starting at 4:00 a.m. 2 days out of the week. We have been doing it, but we had made a commitment to at least do it 2 days out of the month. But to get a start on it, we had started to do it more frequent, which would kind of push most of the crowd along. I know we have the individual who's unhoused who like to turn over trash cans. So we've been working with that, and also the Department of Health to have treatment into the barriers around the planters for rodents as well.
awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate your update.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Johnson? Awesome. We have a question from Howard in the audience.
Thanks for all the successes. Those flower pots are really very popular, and I see people from the bid there almost every day watering them. So it's just not going to be something that's once and done, neglected. Talking about that, there's a tree box on 7th and tree box. South will be the south east corner in front of along the side of the PNC Bank. okay, it's overgrown. It looks terrible. And I don't know if the bank has any responsibility to remove the weeds. I'm sure if they were told, they would do something because it doesn't reflect well on them. But it may be that they think it's someone else's responsibility. Every other tree box between H and K in New York is taken care of, except that one.
Well, I
It's
can assure you, Howard, that it will be taken care of tomorrow. I'll
okay.
add it to our list, and then we can go forth with maintaining it because we don't want any sore thumbs sticking out. So we do all the rest, so we can take care of that. It's just one.
You mentioned Oscar, who is our chronic unhoused person who is mentally ill. I mean, you don't have to be a psychiatrist to figure that out. I saw him turning over the trash cans the other day. And then also he sits out there. He can't even articulate that he's panhandling. And everyone tells me there's nothing could be done about this. That's hard to believe in 21st century America.
Well, I can address that also, Howard. I had some engagements with him, and I've actually had our outreach person who's on the police force. As a matter of fact, he's been taken in twice for medical treatment, but he also indulges in drugs. So from the one-offs with him when he's not getting what his I would say drug of choice, and when he becomes agitated and start to turn over the cans. Of course, we bolt them down, but the way it's fixated into the ground, they become extremely strong when being under the substance. So the use of that substance, and at that time we usually engage with the outreach for mental health.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all
You're
that you
welcome.
do. All right. We will now move forward with our local events that impact the community. And I did want to say, Jaren did send me the case number of the incident that was referred to earlier that I republished in the chat along with a comment that he made. And Mr. Price is the director of the BED, the president and CEO of the BED. So thank you for doing that. I just wanted to say that I republished that out there for folks. So first up is the Indonesian Festival for Sunday, August 25th. This will be an event that will happen on Pennsylvania between 3rd and 7th Streets Northwest. There will be a load-in happening the evening of Friday, August 23rd, and on Saturday, August 24th. And Julie, I see you were on there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any updates for us?
I do.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for fitting this in. I do want to tell you a little bit about the Indonesian Festival, which, as Michael mentioned, is taking place on August 25th on Pennsylvania Avenue from 3rd Street to 7th Street. We will actually not be closing for load-in until early Saturday morning. So Friday night will remain open. We will start load-in at 4:30 a.m. and then continue all day and evening Saturday. And then the program itself starts at 10 a.m. on Sunday and goes until 6 p.m. We will have many performances and vendors from Indonesia who are coming in for the festivities. We have approximately 30 food booths that will be serving up some great Indonesian fare, and then many crafts and activities and cultural information around the space. I can share a site plan if that's helpful. As I said, it does go from 3rd Street, Pennsylvania Avenue to 7th, where we have the tents and the stages set up.
I think I have your site plan right here. This looks like it will be a fun event. Just push that up there for folks to see. Of course, there's a message in the way. Preparing my content. I don't know what that means. Let's get that out of the way for us.
Yeah, so this is the West End. This is from 6th to 7th, where we have a lot of the admin activities behind the house, tents and such. And then as you start going east, you'll see right at 6th and Penn, we have a stage there that will have performances to your right with the cursor. Yep, right in there is a stage. And then as you keep going east, you'll see all along Pennsylvania, other way, as you move
my document is stuck. It's still preparing, apparently.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you have a bunch of booths along the other way?
Yeah, so they'll just keep going down to just after 4th Street, and we have our second stage at Pennsylvania and Constitution, right at that intersection. So a lot of good things. There's going to be a fashion show and a parade along the center of the booths from the stage down to 6th Street, and then it'll come back. So you'll see lots of Indonesian costumes and music for that. They'll have some food demonstrations. And then, as I mentioned, lots of delicious Indonesian food. So we're looking forward to it. It is to celebrate the 75 years of international diplomatic strength between the United States and Indonesia. So we are very excited to be part of that.
Awesome. And is the event, how many people are you anticipating?
Well, festivals typically get around 10,000 throughout the day. So, you know, it is August, people are on vacation, so we'll see. It could increase with tourists and such going by, but somewhere around there for the whole day.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I would like to move that we send a letter of support for the Indonesia Festival. For a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Strauss. All those in favor? Raise your hand. So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will get that letter off to you pronto because it's coming right up around the corner.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hope to see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is More Than Pink Walk, which is being held on Sunday, September 18th, benefiting the Susan G. Komen Foundation. This will take place on Freedom Plaza in Pennsylvania between 12th and 14th Streets. Do we have Lisa on with us? Yes, I see Lisa is on.
I'm here.
Hi, Lisa. How are you tonight?
Hi, good. And just a quick bit of clarification. We're on September 8th, not the 18th.
Oh, I'm sorry. September 8th. You got it. My bad.
No worries. Thanks for having me again to the meeting. So yep, I'm representing the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk, which is a fundraising walk benefiting the Susan G. Komen Foundation. We'll be loading in around the Freedom Plaza area starting at midnight. We'll be at the Freedom Plaza itself on Saturday, September 7th, up on the plaza. And then as far as on the streets, we'll be shutting down Pennsylvania Avenue directly around the plaza at midnight. We'll be loading in from midnight till 7 a.m. The participants will come at 7 a.m. From 7 to 9, we'll have registration, kids activities, survivor area, sponsor booths, etc. The walk will start with the opening ceremony at 9 a.m. and folks will step off right after that. They'll be walking down Pennsylvania Avenue. And I'll share the route if that's helpful, as well as the site map. But I'm going to blank out for a second, but walking down Pennsylvania over to 3rd to Independence and then doing a U-turn and returning. We anticipate all of the walkers will be back by 10:30 a.m. And then the streets will reopen along the route following the last walker. And then the festivities kind of along Pennsylvania Avenue at the plaza will end at noon on Sunday. And then we're anticipating all of the streets to reopen by 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Awesome. This is always a great event happening, so, and benefiting the Coleman Foundation. So we appreciate that being here. And this is the standard route that you've used in the past. There you go.
Yep, so here's the site plan, same as previous years, and then, yep, as you mentioned, the standard route, heading down Pennsylvania, going to Third, Independence, and then coming back around.
Awesome. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Anybody in the community have questions? All right. I would like to move that we send a letter of support for the More Than Pink walk on Sunday, September 8th.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Strauss. All those in favor, raise your hands. Thomas, are you in favor? Oh, earbud has died. So we have 2 commissioners voting in favor of that. The motion will carry. I think he's lost his audio for us. So the motion will carry. So we'll get a letter off for you and go from there.
Thank you so much. Hope to see some folks there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate being here. We have no other items of business on tonight's agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 10th, 6 p.m., same place, same Zoom link. Any other questions or comments? Then I'd like to move that we adjourned our meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Strauss. Thank you all very much. Have an awesome evening. Enjoy the rest of your vacation, Thomas.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
I'm also going past, holding my promise and going past the library.
We might see you by the time we get cleaned up.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, good night.